Hello. When I was a child, about 8 years old, I was invited to take part in my school's nativity play. I was very excited to be given a part, and the part I was given was the King of Gold. Couldn't have been a better part as far as I was concerned, and I had great excitement with my mother making a suitable treasure chest that I could carry on stage and which would represent my gift of gold. What I was even more surprised to find out was that my king had a name, that the King of Gold has traditionally been given the name Melchior. And that fascinated me, the idea that the biblical story wasn't all that there was to know, that there were stories, there were legends attached to the characters of the Christmas story which could be uncovered and explored. I discovered, in fact, that although the Bible doesn't say there were three and doesn't say that they were kings, that the three kings had been given names quite early on, that they were called Melchior, Caspar, and Balthazar, and that these names had attached to them down through the Christian centuries, and that there was a whole level of other material that could be explored or attributed to them. In fact, the Christmas story as we have it is a sort of conglomeration of partly the biblical stories in the Gospel according to Matthew and the Gospel according to Luke, but also other ideas that had been garnered from the prophecies of the Old Testament, or that had sort of simply just been invented in the centuries of Christian belief. A couple of years ago, the Church in Wales was kind enough to give me a sabbatical, and one of the things I thought I might do during the sabbatical was to write a book. The book that I decided to write was what you now see as an Advent Book of Days, a collection of 25 chapters from the 1st of December to the 25th of December, which takes one of the characters of the Christmas story and investigates them on 4 levels. On the level of what the Bible tells us about them, on the level of what can be proved from history, on the level of what legends have accrued to them, and finally drawing on all that to give some sort of description of how that might affect our faith today, to give us something to pray about and to pray for. Of course, the characters that I began with were the 3 Magi, the 3 kings, because those were the ones that had fired up my imagination in the beginning. Melchior, the King of Gold, Caspar, the King of Frankincense, and Balthazar, the King of Myrrh. There they were. I decided as well that we needed to have a picture, an illustration of each of the characters. Although adult books aren't meant to have pictures, are they? Nevertheless, it's good to have a picture. The problem was I knew I'd run into copyright difficulties, so I attempted something very bold, and that was to produce my own illustrations. So the Advent Book of Days is there as something that I hope you might enjoy. Each chapter has something from the Bible, something from history, something from legend, a pretty picture to look at, and a prayer. I hope that it will help your Advent journey. I much enjoyed writing the book, and I trust that it will help you to learn more about the rich stories that hide behind each of the characters of the Christmas story.